So looking at the dollar, it looks like we found a local top, at least in the short term. I'm not saying this is the blow off top or this is the macro top or anything, but we have started falling out of the zones that at least I was looking at for the dollar needing to hold for us to be bullish. What we're going to do in this video is we are going to look at how Bitcoin is doing after the dollar bounce to the downside, and then what we're going to be doing is zooming out, looking at the daily time frame, weekly time frame, seeing if there are any last levels of support that the dollar would need to hold. So let's jump right into the video. Like I said, it does look like the dollar has found a local top. Well, I mean, it's pretty evident that this was a local top. We are obviously coming down right now. We've been channeling since we broke bearish, and we have, you know, capitulated back down to some lower levels. So we said this multiple times, that at least in my opinion, 102.3 was the area that really needed to hold for the dollar. And what you can see is basically in the past 24 hours, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, past 24 hours exactly, the dollar's been capitulating. And if we look at what's been going on Bitcoin over the past 24 hours, drew it a little bit too much, but for the past 24 hours, we've really been going up. Now, we've been going up for a tiny bit more than the dollar has, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt as well, but obviously these are inversely correlated. The more the dollar drops, the more bullish it's going to be looking for Bitcoin, and I do quite like the setup we're seeing over on Bitcoin right now. We have retested, which is one of the main things that I said we needed to see. And we do have a lot of volume coming in, which I'm going to make a separate video about, because I really want to talk about how the dollar affects Bitcoin over, you know, the TA on Bitcoin today. So, like I said, we're going to go through, look at where we've previously topped on the dollar, and see if there's any points that, you know, we might want to hold as well for the dollar, because, you know, obviously we can't rule out the dollar bouncing back up higher. You know, if you were ruling the dollar bouncing out after this mass capitulation over here, we obviously came up for one extra leg. So let's go through and see where we would need to hold. Now, it does seem like it was pretty black and white that after you had the blow off top right here, I mean, this was a big blow off top and capitulation. This was more of like a steady run up, run down, blow off top. But here, this was really the blow off top where it was evident that we had topped out. And we haven't necessarily seen like a super blow off top, but if we do start coming down, you could really see how this huge ramp up, at least in terms of the dollar, it would definitely be a blow off top. So that is something to keep an eye on. We do still have a tiny bit of support, like I said, on the daily time frame, coming down at 101.7. I think just not necessarily like backing up with any data points, but the 100 area is going to be a big area of psychological support for the dollar as well. So we will see how that ends up playing out. I mean, you can see we bounced around the high 99s quite a few times, bounced back up to basically 100 before we did capitulate. So 100 is definitely going to be a level to take note of. In my opinion, we've already encompassed all the data points on this on the daily. Let's hop over to the weekly, find our first capitulation, and you can see the capitulation candles were just down to 102.1. So if we do move this down just a tiny bit extra to kind of encompass us breaking down, bouncing back into this zone, and then capitulating. You can also see there's multiple touch points on 102.1 here, so this is also going to be a big area. And this is more or less, I mean, we're sitting very close to this at this moment in time. So also, if we do hop over to the weekly, you can see candle body close rejections actually happened on 101.9 right here. So I am going to encompass these two extra areas in just 1 second, and we're also going to look at the monthly just to see what's going on. So you can also argue, like I said, this would be an area of support on the daily. I'm going to keep this box how it is. This is just one extra zone for us to keep our eyes on. And you can also see EMA ribbons. We are still in the EMA ribbons. I really don't want to get exceptionally bearish for the dollar at this moment in time. I still do think Bitcoin could capitulate harder, especially if we do keep on seeing the volume coming in, which I am going to be talking about in a video in probably the next half an hour or so. But yeah, the dollar Not a lot has changed in the macro term. It is really good to see though. On the daily time frame, you can see we've capitulated below this trend, red, green, red formation, and we are sliding down. The last time we had a red, green, red, we simply just formed a dead cat bounce the next day and then had another red, green, red. So that could definitely be something that we could keep our eyes on. Most of the time, especially on the dollar, red, green, red formations almost always play out. So it'd be interesting to see if we come down, you know, maybe get a bounce back up to this previous resistance point. Well, it was support before, but, you know, 102.37. If we come back, have a bounce on the daily tomorrow, and we do close below 102.35, this could set up another beautiful red, green, red formation, which would hopefully take us below these EMA ribbons. Now, bear in mind, these are going to converge up, so, you know, drawing like a line of best fit, a push below 101.28, but really, you know, call it 101, make it simple, we'd be below the 50-week, I believe this is the 50-day moving average. We'd be below the 50-day moving average as well. The 50-day pretty much moves in tandem with the EMA ribbons, but I'd say a move below 101.2 would be the nail in the coffin. And I did mention this over on my Discord today, but because of what we've been seeing with the dollar and because of what we're seeing with Bitcoin right now, I did buy some Bitcoin on spot. I was initially talking about, you know, if Bitcoin was able to push up, come back and backtest and break above the invalidation point, I would be looking to make a long, but we have had more or less a backtest. I mean, you know, we broke up on the hourly, we came back, we accumulated in a bull flag beneath this, and then we broke out, backtested the EMA ribbons, and then we went up. So we didn't do the perfect backtest that I wanted, and also looking at the volume, we just did not see the volume coming in. So just a quick update, I already mentioned it in the Discord, but yeah, haven't entered a long on Bitcoin yet, just a spot. So there are still a few areas, like I said, that the dollar needs to go below, 101.9 and 101.74. Definitely keep your eyes on there. Also, one thing that I want to point out, let me quickly remove these. This is something that someone pointed out in the live stream, so, you know, it was only one person who pointed it out, so if you are the person who called that out, then shouts out to you. But someone said to look at the monthly time frame, and I believe that they were referencing the doji candles. Let me just get rid of all these. They were referencing the doji candles that basically come almost exactly at every single top, and that's what we're going to wrap up this video on. First of all, we're actually going to start off with the middle one, just to make it simpler, and I'll go on to the first one in a minute, because it's a slight anomaly from the data we're seeing so far. But you can see we had this big, huge doji candle, and this doji candle wicking all the way up here on the monthly was basically your sign of the blow off top. And interestingly as well, we haven't formed a perfect doji yet. We can definitely 100% do it. It is something we can do on the monthly. We still do have another week to go, so I will be looking out for this and I will give you an update. But this monthly candle, I'm telling you, for the dollar, if we capitulate from this point, this will be a blow off top. Like, you do not normally see runs up from 98 up till 94 on the dollar. Like, that is really ridiculous. We haven't seen, you know, moves up like this since we were going parabolic in the first blow off top, and even then this candle just does not look as menacing as this one that we've got here. So it definitely looks like on the higher time frames this could be a blow off top. And you could see that if the dollar does manage to wick, let's say hypothetically we wick all the way down to 100, like I said, 100 would be a psychological level. So if we do then bounce back up and, you know, we have this wick down, let's say we close pretty much around the regions where we're at now. If we close around 101 to 102, then we could have a big doji candle playing out on this monthly candle, which would also be very in line with what we've previously seen. Now, like I said, I'm going to finish off on the first data point, because technically we did not actually top out on a doji candle. We topped out on this candle here, which was, you know, a normal bearish candle with a blow off top wick to the upside. But what's interesting about this is the month before, we had a doji candle, we basically tagged the top, so you can consider the top to be this doji candle, and if you want to consider this to just be like a slightly, you know, very slightly higher high, in my opinion you could argue this as the doji candle that was the blow off top, and then you could argue the next monthly candle was simply just a breakdown, a wick back up to test this as resistance, and a double top on this doji formation. So very interesting. Like I said, shout out to the person who called that out in the stream. I can't remember your name, I do apologize. But like I said, monthly time frame on the dollar, if we do end up doing something like this again, where we've got another doji, then it would be very nice to see, because I do believe at that period of time we could be a lot more certain that the dollar would be playing out a top like it previously did. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on the dollar. Like I said, we've basically covered everything. You know, the squeeze bomb is heading down in the lower time frames. It really does seem like we do have the bearish momentum to keep on pushing this down. Every 4-hourly wick, every 4-hourly candle rather, in the past 24 hours has been pushing down and making new lows. So very interesting to see. Also, you know, I don't want to go into the stock market for this video, but obviously the stock market normally moves up as the dollar moves down, and the stock market is doing okay today. What I really want to say is we're seeing a lot of volume coming in for the stock market. A lot of bounces are happening with some volume supporting the uptrend. So this is really what we needed to see. I personally did not think the dollar top would be coming so soon, but you know, we do need to keep on our toes and be prepared for all these scenarios. So like I said, I have picked up some Bitcoin after this has happened, but don't get too crazy yet. Don't, you know, go to the bank with this. Don't throw in all your life savings or get out of bed. I'm personally not getting out of bed yet. I'm still waiting for, you know, these capitulations to happen below 101.9, and more specifically I think 101.7 and the psychological level of 100. I think once we're below 100, that's the nail in the coffin. That is the point in time where I'd be very certain that the bottom for Bitcoin is in, and that is kind of where I look at putting all of my fiat back into the crypto market. So that's all I've got. Like I said, just wanted to update you on the dollar. I will keep you updated on this in the future, and in a moment I am going to record a video talking about the crazy volume that we've got coming in with Bitcoin right now and what I see playing out next. Hope you found some value in this video. As always, cowboy out. Peace.